scamming them.
Yeah, I literally am. I know,
You're
it's kind of
scamming
cheap.
them.
Yeah.
That's why you use OnlyFans,
I
because
actually
OnlyFans has like, you're like, oh, I hate that OnlyFans has this perception, but you're using that perception to get people to subscribe.
Yeah, but that's their own fault, isn't it?
I don't blame you. I agree with you. That is definitely our own fault.
That's their own fault.
But like, if the perception wasn't OnlyFans was sexually explicit stuff, you wouldn't make any money.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. No. Yeah, and I didn't really think of it until like, yeah.
Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm sitting in this spot, which means I've got a great conversation lined up for you today. You know, on this channel, we love to talk about all things dating and relationships and see what we can do to attract the kind of person we want. So without further ado, please welcome Dinusha to the show. Welcome.
Hi.
How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Good.
She was just telling us about how she speaks 3 languages.
Yeah.
What?
I know.
That's insane. That's insane. I mean, that's got to go on a dating bio, if anything. Like, I speak 3 languages. So, Dinusha, I want to jump right in.
Yeah.
So, tell us your age or age range, and one thing a guy should know about you if he wants to take you on a date.
So obviously I'm 24.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I'd like them to know is that I do have 2 kids, and yeah, I'll be looking more into the future than I would be in like just as a, you know, casual thing.
A
just
short-term thing. She
yeah,
ain't looking for that short-term thing.
I'm not that sort of girl,
She might not have the time for a short-term
yeah,
thing.
so I definitely would be looking more long-term when it comes to men or guys.
100%. And
yeah.
would you want to get married?
Yeah, definitely. It has to be, because I want like a big Sri Lankan wedding, and I want a normal wedding as well. So I definitely want 2 weddings all at once.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely I want to get married.
Yeah. So you'd be definitely looking for a stepdaddy out here. She's looking for a stepdaddy.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
I hear that. And kind of, I guess, kind of being a mum and stuff, how did the dating scene change for you? What was your experience? Did you experience like a positive things, negative things? Like, was that a
I
shift for you?
haven't dated at all.
Not at all?
I literally haven't.
What about prior to having your kids? Obviously you were with someone.
But well, before that I was quite young, so I wouldn't really call it an ex. It's kind of like a situationship. So
Okay.
it was really like, yeah, I came from that to basically having kids.
Yeah.
So kind of like, I never really got to do the whole dating or getting to know anyone. It was just kind of straight to the point.
Yeah.
So,
especially kind of, I guess, as an adult.
yeah.
Because you've been a parent since you've been an adult, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So like, what do you think about the dating scene right now from like either what you've seen or your friends and stuff?
So most of my friends are from school as well, and they've all been in relationships since they were younger as well.
Yeah.
So there's only a few that don't have boyfriends, and from what I hear, I just don't think I'm right for this generation, just because I just feel like I wouldn't. I don't know. I just feel like I wouldn't really fit in, if that makes sense. Just because, I don't know, I've only been like properly, like, I guess, with someone for like 2 people. So for me, it's like I would expect a lot, and it would take a lot for them to like have me, if that makes sense. So they would have to tick a lot of boxes before they could get me, if that makes sense.
Sure, I get that.
So,
is it because like your previous partners, they ticked a lot of boxes and so you're like, that's kind of my thing?
No, my previous one definitely didn't, but we move. No, the father of my kids, he's unbelievable. We get on so well. He's such a good dad. He was such a partner. He was just amazing, but unfortunately, like, sometimes you do just grow apart. But I still have a lot of love for him, and we still get on for the kids, and hopefully we carry on getting on. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't really know what I would be looking for, but I guess unless I put myself out there, I'm never going to know, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really like the sort of person that, like, I'm not very approachable when it comes to like guys coming over. I'm just like, nope. Don't want to talk to you.
Really?
Yeah, it sounds really bad. And all my friends are like, oh my God, like, seriously, what is wrong with you? He's fit. And I'm like, I just don't want anything. It's weird. I'm really weird like that. I don't know. Maybe it's because, like you said, like, I have been in a relationship since I was younger, that like this adult life is just not the one. Especially because, like, I've got 2 kids as well. It's like a lot to look for.
Yes.
But my friends are like, oh, you should have a bit of fun. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
So do you think, because you say like you've got a really good relationship with your kid's dad,
Yeah.
which is I think is great because
Yeah.
I think there's so many, especially younger parents and stuff, where they don't have great relationship with like, you know, the mother or the father and stuff, and that can affect like the kids.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it's great that you guys can do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you having such a great relationship with him, I guess. Is there still a level of companionship there because you're kind of a team when it comes to raising the kids? Or
I think there's always going to be a lot of love towards each other. And like, I'm sure if I gave it another go, he would too. But I don't know, right now I just kind of like focusing on myself and doing my own thing. It's not even about looking for other guys. Like I said, like I'm just not approachable at all. It's just, for me at the moment, it's just focusing on myself and getting myself out there with like my goals, my own personal goals, and being the best mum I can and kind of manage life both like with my kids and my social life, and just basically have a good support group, if that makes sense, because I do have really good friends that are there for me and my kids, and like you know, most of the time they have their own lives, they don't have kids, they don't understand, but all my friends are so supportive and so there for me and my kids that, to be honest, not even a man could do personally, just because I've got such a supportive group of girls that I don't really need a man in a way. It sounds really bad, and like I said, the father of my kids, he's amazing, so why do I need another person to even help me with that sort of stuff, you know? And I've got my parents are brilliant as well, and his parents, like I said, I've really got a good supportive system.
Got a good network. You've got a great system.
Yeah.
Would you ever be open at trying things with him again to make it work, especially because you're kind of family for life? I feel
like there's a lot of things that I want to get over. Not that it wasn't like it ended bad or anything. It's just more like I said, we're just kind of like, you know, when you just get on each other's nerves, and like even them breathing, you're like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just it just got to a point I'm like, oh my God, like I settled down so young, I had kids so young, and you know, he also kind of let himself go in the sense of like doing social stuff. Like he's not very social like I am. So that also kind of put a bit of a, you know, and he also said to me, I've changed, which is fine. Like I have changed, but for me personally, I think I've changed for the better, because I don't know, I just feel like I have, but he doesn't. So it's that, just little things like that. It wasn't like out of like, it didn't end in a bad way in the sense of like there was nothing bad that happened in the relationship. It was just like we just didn't agree with certain things, so we just kind of let it go.
Is he with someone else?
No.
How would you feel if he got with someone else?
I don't know. Unless I'm like, I've seen it and like he tells me about it, then I don't know. But if he has, then like fair play to him. But I mean, it's only been a couple of months, so.
You only broke up recently?
Yeah, so this is what I mean. Like,
that's why you're not in a place.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
But I don't know. Even then, though, I have had guys like, you know, I've had like DMs from certain like celebrities. So obviously, I'm not going to name them, but like. Yeah, and I'm just not interested like that.
Honestly, obviously you're right. I think you guys, there's so much for you to, I don't say get over, but to adjust to. If it only happened in the past couple of months, and I'm guessing he's the father of both your kids.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so like you've had this history with him already, kind of for the better part of a decade, because your eldest is how old?
6 nearly, yeah.
Right, 6. So. That's why you're not open to anyone else. Do you know what I mean? I just think it'd be so quick. It'd be so quick.
Yeah.
And especially if you're kind of like, you're not the person to just kind of date casually in that sense.
Yeah.
And you have a great relationship with him already.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you would, I mean, you don't have to answer this question, but are you guys still intimate?
No.
Not at all?
No, at all.
Okay.
Literally for like 3-4 months.
Yeah.
It's been a while, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, he obviously goes out a little bit more than he did when we was actually together.
Yeah, of course.
Which is good, because I'm always on the go in a way. Like for the next couple of weeks I'm really busy, so when I come back I want him to go as well. Do you know what I mean? And have fun still. And you know, I just feel like he just always wanted to do things with me, but not with his own group. When I'm like, I like to do things with my friends, and I like to do things with him. I like to do things with kids, and then as a family, things like that, where like he was just constantly me. And I'm like, It was just too much at one point, you know.
How did he say that you changed?
I don't know, since I started doing social media, which I don't think I have, but I can see certain bits he says where I have changed, but at the same time, I don't think that's for the worst. I think that's for the better.
When did you start doing like social media and becoming an influencer in that sense? When did you start?
When did I start?
Yeah.
When my son was born early, I was kind of like putting up pictures of me and him and like the journey of like what he went through. And then I started opening up about my accident when I was 15 and I got electrocuted on the train tracks. So that kind of gave me a bit of a platform from there. And then I just started doing loads of like fashion, beauty stuff. And then started going to loads of different events.
So when the fashion beauty stuff, when did that start?
When did that start? Probably about 2 years ago.
And when did he say, was he like, oh, you've changed?
I think it's just mostly because I went to a lot of events and a few times I have invited him as a +1, but like he's very awkward and very to himself, so I felt like maybe that's not the right industry for him, but I'll still go do my own thing and we can still make it work. It doesn't matter that you can't make it. You don't need to get on with these people, or, you know, but it just made me feel like I wasn't achieving much if he was there, because I'm like, I constantly have to see if he's okay instead of going to talk to people and, you know, making, you know, contacts, I guess, in a way, because that's what you go to these events. It's like you're going there to kind of socialize and see what everyone else is doing, and that's how you get to other stuff, you know. That like I didn't want someone to just kind of hold me back in a way. So wow.
I get that. I guess because it's not uncommon when you have a couple and then there's somebody and someone in that couple enters this social media influencer space, and then it just changes like the dynamic of the relationship. And what did he say? And this isn't saying it's right, but what would he say changed for him in regards to the relationship? Did he feel like you were being like way more social and less time with him? Was it like
that is literally what you just said.
Okay.
Literally that.
So he kind of felt
that
neglected?
I wasn't doing much with him, but I would be doing stuff with like, you know, random like girls that I've met and, you know, just things like that really. Or like I'll take my friends out more than I'd take him out.
So you started going out more.
Yeah.
And you didn't want him to come because you felt like it held you back.
Not hold me back necessarily, just more like I said, I just didn't want to go there and then have to see if he's okay and if he's fine to be there on his own. Like, it's just a bit awkward, isn't it? And like, people will be like, oh, is that your partner? I'll be like, yeah. Like, you know, it's just a bit, I don't know. He just wasn't as social as my other friends' partners, for example, you know? So it just felt like I have to be there just to see if he was okay, which it's not a bad thing because he's obviously just not the same as when it comes to things as me. But at the same time, I don't want to be looking after, like, not after him, but like, you know.
Yeah, you're like, I've got 2 kids already.
Basically.
Yeah, I get that. And I'm not saying that people do grow and people do change. And I think sometimes, an unrealistic expectation men have on women is they expect her to never change. And sometimes I'd say a lot of the time the woman expects the guy to change. Do you know what I mean? And we have to be prepared for whatever happens, whether they will, whether they won't. But I think for somebody who, if he's quite, like you said, maybe more introverted, not that social, etc., and you've heavily stepped into the world, and especially if you're like gaining followers and likes, you're making all these great contacts, it's exciting, right? Because at least for you, especially, you're kind of progressing in something that you want to do.
Yeah.
And so naturally we can start to prioritize that because we're getting excited about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then our partner can like feel neglected in that sense, especially if they're not ready for that change.
Yeah.
Did it surprise you when he was like, I feel like things have changed, I feel like, you know, we're not as present together as much, or did that surprise you, or were you kind of like, nah, things are the same?
I mean, I saw the change before he could even see. I think most women do in a way, like.
Okay.
I think sometimes
changing
men get.
Yourself, you mean?
What do you mean? Changing?
Well, no, when you said you saw the change.
Oh, I've saw it change for a while now, so I'm kind of the one that pulled it out on that. But I don't know. I think with men, they just get comfortable when they finally like settle down in a way that like they forget to still be acting a certain way like you did at the beginning.
What do you
if that
mean?
makes sense. So like, you know, at first it's always like exciting. He will take you out all the time and, you know, you'll do loads of things together and you got little adventures and stuff like that. And then like they settle down and like life gets the same kind of thing for a while, obviously, especially because we've had kids. And then they kind of forget to like, for example, like compliment you or, you know, there's so many like things like, for example, he would never really compliment me. But then when I would pull him out on it, he'd be like, well, you get a lot from social media. And I'm like, okay, but that's not the same as like my man doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Was it that he would compliment you in the beginning?
Yeah, like even then, I don't think he really did now looking back. But like, no, like he did. Not saying he didn't because he did.
Yeah.
But not as much as like I once experienced, I guess, like
For someone before him.
yeah, like he used to compliment me a lot and I forgot that side of me and I'm like, oh, like that is something I do miss and I never really had that with this person. So like you start comparing like certain things that they both have that, you know, I don't know how to explain it.
No,
but
I get that. Like
yeah.
you're reflecting on something that you got before that you weren't getting in this relationship.
Basically, yeah.
But obviously you kind of knew about him from the beginning.
Yeah, I know, but like I said, I just kind of more fell in love with different things before that. Do you know what I mean? Because at the time, I literally just came out of this like situation that like I wasn't really mentally okay with.
Yeah.
That I kind of went for the nice guy. Do you know what I mean? Like obviously he was good and like I said, he really healed me in that sense.
Yeah.
I'm definitely like more calm than I was once upon a time.
Okay.
But at the same time, yeah, you kind of like forget about the other things that you would have wanted until like later on in life that you realize, oh, I kind of missed that part, you know?
Yeah, I mean, no one's perfect though, right?
No, I know. And I'm not
Because I mean, there's a reason you chose to, you know, have kids with this guy and not the previous guy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was really kind of, it just happens. And I didn't really plan the kids, let's be honest.
I get that.
No one really plans at that age, surely.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I mean, like, but you have two though.
But I'm really glad I
mean?
did have kids with him because I couldn't have chosen anyone else because there's literally like so many idiots out there. They're like like I said to you, like he is such a great dad. When I say he's such a great dad, he's brilliant. That's one thing I will never fault him on. And yeah, obviously the second one, again, I didn't plan it, but you know, we're 16 months later. So
it just
happens again. So yeah, no, both times I didn't know whether I wanted to keep them both, but you know, I was so young, so that's fair enough for me to feel a certain way. So he really got me through that. And yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Is it fair to say, because I think it's really interesting, I think this is a really interesting point to kind of look at when you kind of brought up to him, you're like, hey, like I'd really appreciate if, you know, you could compliment me a bit more, you know, that's just something like words of affection. And he was like, well, you're getting that validation from social media. Do you know what I mean? Is there an aspect of this kind of influencer world you kind of stepped into where you started to get things that he just didn't give you? And so because you said like, oh, you're like, oh, I actually do miss this. And you step into this world where, especially if you're doing like fashion and beauty and stuff, people are like validating and say, hey, you look great. You're so gorgeous. Other guys probably hitting on you and all this stuff, especially if you're being social and all this stuff. And that's just not him and that hasn't been him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's almost kind of the things that you felt you weren't getting from him that maybe you missed, you started getting it from this industry. And then maybe the focus just became that. Would that be fair to say? Or
I don't think necessarily that. I do agree with some of the points you just said.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's that, like I said, it was more like, yeah, that definitely, like you do get more attention when you're out. And, you know, there are other guys that will try it, but he also knows I don't really appreciate it from other guys. Like, I don't mind if someone came up to, oh, you look really nice. I'm like, that's nice. But it's when they're like, you know, they're like, oh, so what you doing tonight then? And I'm like, no, nothing, you know, going home to bed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll just think, no, I've got a boyfriend. Like, that's when you like obviously shut it down. But at the same time, it's not even just the other guys, like obviously giving you that attention. It's more like you think, oh, like there must be other guys out there that still compliment their girlfriends, even though they've been together for years. And I just felt like in a way I wasn't getting that. So for me, I addressed it and it still wasn't getting done. And then I had to just kind of find my own little way out.
Yeah. Do you think you asked for something that he never actually brought to you?
He did,
Okay.
but not in the way I wanted him to do it.
So he never brought it to the way that you wanted him to do it. So then, is it a surprise if he didn't just start doing it, if that's never been him?
No.
Do you know what I mean, though?
Yeah, no, I get that. That's what I mean. You can't change someone to be
because it's like
someone you want them to be, if that makes sense. Because that's not fair either.
Yeah. And
but
I
it's
guess,
like trying to say that to them is like a bit awkward and hard to like word it, you know?
Yeah, of course. But I think, and I say this because I think we've all made that mistake where you go, oh, like you start asking or wanting something from your partner that they've never actually done in the first place.
Yeah.
And so for them, they're like, why is this important to you now? Because I thought we chose each other based on different values. Do you know what I mean? And that's not saying you can't want those things. But it's more about, I think this is really a common cycle that we can get into where we do start to ask for new things because we've acclimatized to the beautiful things they already do bring us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like why we chose them, because there's a reason you chose him. There's a reason you had 2 kids with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fact that you've said that he's a great dad, I'm like, oh, that makes sense, because I'm guessing
he's a good person.
Values.
He really is, and he really cares, and he goes above and beyond for all the people that are involved in his life.
Yeah.
Especially like his mom, his sister, myself, the kids. Like he does always put us first before himself.
Yeah.
And like you said, people are not perfect, but again, like sometimes I just think you deserve better as well, like in that sense, that as well, because I think, well, I don't want you to change, so let's just, you know, and I don't feel like I'm being as happy as I used to be, so let's just cut it for the day or months even now. So do
you feel like you've met guys, when I say like him, that has like the qualities in him that you find attractive that made you kind of choose him? Have you found guys that have those qualities as well as the kind of, you know, the word of affirmation that you kind of want as well?
What do you mean, like just by being out like in the last couple of months?
Yeah. Or even like, because you've been, how long have you been like a content creator influencer for? Like doing the beauty fashion
in
stuff?
general, like about 3 years. Yeah.
About 3 years. So you would have met, obviously you weren't like
I've met loads,
but you would have met loads of different people,
like I met loads
guys
of
and stuff.
Yeah, I met loads of guys, but I feel like I would never get with a guy from that industry anyway.
Why is
personally, just because I just think they're around girls all the time. I can't be asked for that. I'm not here to chase, or I'm just like just to go home and I can just you do a normal office job or whatever, and then I don't know. I just don't find them attractive. It's really weird. I don't find many guys attractive personally. Like I can appreciate someone good looking and be like, oh, like he's fit.
Yep.
But to actually have that connection and actually think of it like that, for me, it does take a while.
I get that. I think that's a good thing. It should be like you shouldn't rush into things.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that you like, I wouldn't choose a guy in this space because of this environment of what the space is, right? Which I completely get. But that's what your ex had a problem with you in this space. Like the reason you're like, I wouldn't choose a guy because of I know what this space is. He's like, well, this is about that you've started to do that I now have an issue with.
Yeah, he didn't really have an issue because he really supported me through it. It's
great.
more like that he thinks my attitude has changed and he thinks, I'm a bit more like, I don't know. I don't know. It's like I expect more because of what I see. Let's say even like watching a reality show, I'll be like, oh, like I wish it could be like that. And he'll be like, that's not reality though. That's just a TV show to make everyone like think like that. And I get his point. It's true. Like most of it is like, you know, scripted or whatever it is. Like it is quite
that's why
fake
it's entertaining,
in a way.
because it's not reality. That's why it's
that's what I'm saying. So I think it's more like that. I compare my life to other people's that he didn't like about the social stuff, because he knows he's been out with me enough times now to know that like it's not about like me potentially cheating on him or me potentially, you know, them trying it with me and me do you know what I mean? It's not about that, because he trusts me and I'm not that sort of girl, like I said, like but it was just more the fact that I was comparing my life to our life.
Was that a fair statement from him?
Yeah.
Okay.
which I understood that, which
Yeah.
I'm fine with, but I still wanted different things, you know?
Yeah, and sometimes you just want different things.
Yeah.
Do you know? Sometimes you just want different things. I think there's an element of I think we should have things that we want to prioritize, and then everything else we have to be able to be flexible on.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if it's okay, I want someone who's, let's say for example, it's like, okay, I want someone who is very out there and very social and all this stuff because I really like that about them and they love being center of attention. I find that very attractive. Cool, that's great. But then the compromise on that is that maybe they draw like a lot of attention from other people, and I can go, oh well, like they get a lot of attention from other people. How does that make me feel? They're always in these kind of environments. But I get that. Sometimes you just want different things. Like you said, like you're scared from when you're 18, you're now in your mid-20s.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just for different things. So what would you say you would look for now in a guy?
Someone obviously that would get on with my kids because that is like a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally I'd like someone with kids because I can't be asked to just
You'd
like
want
train
kids.
them to be a dad. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but ideally yes.
Okay.
But obviously I don't know how many. But then again, I do go for older guys, so most likely they will have kids, hopefully. But obviously, I don't know. Yeah, but you know, you never know what things can happen. Like it's only been a few months, so you never know. And I don't know.
Yeah, of course.
So it's one of them that it's like we'll see how it goes. I'm not interested in getting to know anyone else, and if it comes, it comes. But yeah, so I would definitely looking for obviously that, and then someone I can travel with because traveling for me is such a big thing. Like you cannot just work your whole life and not travel. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be just stuck in one place.
Yeah.
And that's probably where I get that from my parents because they've traveled a lot. So
nice.
Yeah, that's one thing I'd like to do before I like settle down and get a mortgage and stuff like that. And then basically just someone I can have a good vibe with, really.
Yeah. So like nothing in terms of appearance, in terms of what job, kind of job he does.
I don't really go for appearance.
No, okay.
You should see some of the exes. Everyone always makes fun of my ex, like situations, and it's not okay. But maybe I should go for looks. But yeah, all my friends just make fun of like the type that I go for, which is just
really what they just say that this guy's not as good looking.
No, my friend Biddy, right? She turned around to me and she was like, she always goes for the ones that look homeless, and I'm like, she was like, it's always the ones that no one would look for, and I'm like. Okay, thanks. But she fully said that, like she was like, "What? It's true," and I'm like, "Okay, thanks."
Maybe you just choose for the right reasons.
Yeah, no, I just go for what's in here,
exactly,
not what's out here, because we all get old and grey. So
very true. Looks fade. Looks fade with time for all of us. What is something since kind of entering this influencer space? What's something that maybe guys get wrong about you, like an initial impression or something?
Every time I meet someone, they obviously stalk my socials and they go on my links and they see my OnlyFans link.
Do you have OnlyFans?
Well, this is where I'm going to get to. So people go on it and they're like, oh my God, you do OnlyFans? And I'm like, yeah, don't get excited. It's not like that. It's actually, I only just do like purely just like bikini and lingerie pictures. Just what you don't post on socials. What?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you do OnlyFans, don't matter what you show, you know, everyone's like,
no, I know, of course.
For.
But unless you just subscribe to it or like try to talk to me on there, you'll know that that's the only shit I do, you know?
Yeah, so, but I guess no one would.
By the time, obviously. But then again, OnlyFans is trying to like open up, like being more open about things, not just like sexual stuff. They're trying to do it for like, let's say people that want to do like online training, for example, they do it for that sort of stuff. If you actually go on their socials, you'll be able to see they do cooking stuff. So you can make OnlyFans into anything now. That's what they are trying to do. So I hate that they're like, people have this like thing, they think, oh, like she's definitely getting fucked on there. It's like, no, I'm not. Yeah.
I mean, OnlyFans isn't the only way you can have a paid community though.
No.
Like, because there's so many platforms. There's like Discord, there's like even
what,
YouTube
where you can
Premium.
pay and then see like
so you can
certain things.
Yeah. So even on Instagram, they have like, you can join someone's paid community channel where like people who pay have access to like the exclusive stuff. Do you know what I mean? So because there are so many other ways you can have a paid community, OnlyFans is like, you know,
I think for me it's more
that.
like, obviously I don't really promote it because like I said, it's not like that for me and I'm not desperate to get money, but it's just like that extra money really helps. Do you know what I mean? And
Interesting.
I only do like a few photo shoots a year, and then I just post all of them here and there. Like I don't really focus on it. It's just more like, for me it's just savings that are like what at one point I'll be able to use. Do you know what I mean? So I think, yeah, I'll get what you mean. There are other platforms where you can do that, but I think when like people go on and they're like, OnlyFans, get excited, subscribe, and then I get that money and you get mugged off. So I'm just
so you know what you're doing then.
You're
you're using the hopefulness of guys to see you in an explicit way to like get money.
Yeah.
And then they just go off though, right? Because obviously if they think they're going to get that, they don't get that.
But I think, this is what I was trying to say. Like, obviously when people meet me, they're like, oh, you do OnlyFans? I'm like, oh yeah, it's not like that. And they're like, oh really? And then they're like, oh, that's mad. Never thought of it like that. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like,
you're scamming them.
Yeah, I literally am. I know,
you're
it's kind of
scamming
key.
them.
Yeah.
That's why you use OnlyFans, because OnlyFans has like, you're like, oh, I hate that OnlyFans has this perception, but you're using that perception to get people to subscribe.
Yeah, but that's their own fault, isn't it?
I don't blame you. I agree with you. That is definitely their own fault.
That's their own fault.
But like, if the perception wasn't OnlyFans was sexually explicit stuff, you wouldn't make any money.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. No. Yeah, and I didn't really think of it until like, yeah.
And how long have you been doing that
I was
for?
actually really scared to even put it out there at first, because I was like, I don't want people to think that of me. But then I was like, fuck it. Like, unless they're subscribed, they ain't gonna know. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you don't
have
think
their
guys already
opinion
think
of
that,
me, huh?
You don't think guys think that of you though? If they see that OnlyFans link?
Yeah, they might get put off, but I don't want them near me anyway. So it's fine.
What, guys in general or like?
Guys in general.
Okay, that's fair. I guess to be fair, you're not looking for a guy.
No, I'm not. And like, obviously, if I am getting to know someone and they ask me that question, I'll be like, look, you can literally go through my phone now and like, you will see that it's not like that at all.
Would you, no, before I ask that, let me ask this. How long have you been doing OnlyFans for?
Oh, since I was like 21. So like, yeah, 3 years.
3 years. How did your partner feel about it?
Oh, me and him were the one that discussed it and done it. And then I had like loads of different people like messaging me, like everyone from like our area, thinking, oh my God, like, have you started doing this? And I'm like, what do I need to, like, most of the time I'd reply back and be like, yeah, go subscribe and see. But
just scam artists, guys.
I think,
don't
like,
trust
do you know what it was for me
her.
at first? It was like, oh, I don't want that for people to have that opinion of me.
Yeah.
But then I changed my mindset and I was like, hang on a minute, they're not like, I'm not naked on it. So even if it went anywhere, it's literally like bikini lingerie pictures, just more professional. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's for me, I'm not really, it's not really affecting me. Do you know what I mean? So like,
I get that. And obviously I'm not a woman and I don't do OnlyFans, but then if you're not, because I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong. But from what I've heard, because I've talked to quite a few OnlyFans girls, unless you are like doing the sexually explicit stuff and you're progressing in that sense, you're really not making that much money. But there is a certain perception that comes with having an OnlyFans account, whether you're a guy or girl. So if you're not making that much from it, if it's just really like just kind of a little bit extra, but you're getting that added perception, is that really worth it?
I think where I've been bullied for years, I hated myself for it. And like,
okay.
Yeah, I feel like my mindset has changed a lot since like school time, that I really don't give a fuck what about anyone thinks of me.
Yeah.
And like, not that this matters, but I haven't slept with that many people. Like I said, I've settled down really young.
Yeah.
I'm not like a girl that sleeps around. No one really knows me like that. And like the guys that I have had that intercourse sexual stuff with.
Yeah.
They're the only ones that have seen me like that, if that makes sense. So for me, I don't really, like, if I had a name and I was a bit of a slag or whatever, I'm not saying like, you know, just, you know.
She's like, I'm not judging, but
I'm not judging,
like that.
But I'm not that sort of girl that like for people to have that opinion on me anyway. And the only opinion you're going to have is from what you kind of saw as the website. Do you know what I mean? Like,
so do guys make a mistake about you because they see that OnlyFans link?
They just think, oh, like, because I had this one guy that said to me, oh, you're so pretty. Why do you do that? And I'm like, oh, well, thanks.
She's like, no, it's because I'm pretty.
I literally was like, I don't do it like that. And he was just like, oh, don't you? And I was like, no, you actually go subscribe if you want to. Like literally.
You should have been. You'd be like, listen, check it out for yourself.
Yeah, like I don't really care what people think in that sense. I really don't. Like, there's quite a lot of girls out there that do OnlyFans purely just lingerie and bikini.
I know, but a lot of them have the same issue when it comes to
dating.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So like, because you're
just because it's like OnlyFans?
Yeah, but
that's
like,
mad.
Would you? Okay, imagine if there was a guy who you met.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I had a great conversation with him. I really like him. You check his socials and you see he has an OnlyFans link. What do you think?
I just think, well, he's definitely gets subscribed by gay boys, but which is fine because
and maybe some women.
Yeah, some women, but mostly gay people because women don't really subscribe. Let's be honest, it's mostly men. Do you know what I mean?
It is mostly men.
I don't think I would be put off personally. I think guys and girls are completely different for me. I think like a girl's having OnlyFans and doing it fully out there, and a guy doing it is, I think, it's two different.
What's different about it to you?
Oh, I feel like I'm gonna get judged, but I don't care.
Be honest. We don't care what people think, right?
I don't think no amount of money can make me do that sort of stuff personally.
Okay.
Just because I'd care way too much about what my family would think. And
so you do care what some people think?
Yeah, obviously. My mum knows I do OnlyFans for just lingerie and bikini. Like, she knows that. She was like, just don't tell dad. And I'm like, no, I won't. I've got Asian parents, so he definitely would whip my ass.
Yeah.
But my mum's fine with it. And she's like, oh, as long as it's like lingerie and bikini. I was like, yeah, obviously. Like, do you really think I'm that confident to do that? She's like, oh, no, obviously not. But I'm just saying. She's like, so how much money do you make? And I'm like, oh, you're so funny. But yeah, if I couldn't do it like that. Just because, yeah, I would care about what my parents would think, what my brother would think.
Does your brother know? Did you have an OnlyFans account? I think
he knows, but he unfollowed me on Instagram anyway, so I think he just did.
That's why he unfollowed.
Yeah, he unfollowed me. Yeah, I would care about the people that are close to me would think. And also, like, I think I'd care about going out in my own area and thinking, oh, did this person subscribe and see me like that? Do you know what I mean? You just never know. Like, yeah, you just never know. So I just get really scared about things like that. But I think fair play, like, I'm not judging any girls that are doing that, because I think fair play for the girls to have the confidence to do it, and you're making that money. But I just think personally, for me, mentally, I couldn't cope with it, just because I think that would mentally affect me.
I get that. So like, why is it different for a guy?
For a guy, it's more like, they're all just quite open anyway, aren't they? Most guys anyway. I'm not saying all of them. Like, most guys.
When you say open, what do you mean?
Like, you know, there's more guys out there that slept with a lot of girls than... No?
Definitely not.
No? Okay, well...
What I mean is, okay, what I'll say is probably more... There are less guys who have had multiple partners, but the guys who have had multiple partners, more of them have a lot more.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not evenly distributed.
No.
You have guys who maybe only been with like a few girls, and you have guys who've been like 50, 60 girls.
Oh God.
Do you know what I mean?
How'd you keep up?
Well, we know how guys treat sex. You know, they can treat it very casually, and a lot.
Yeah,
of them
that's
do.
what I mean. That's another thing. Like, yeah, guys can. That's a different conversation, though, isn't it? But yeah, I feel like guys can definitely do that sort of stuff and not have any feelings towards the person, where girls most likely, I mean, there are girls that can, but
yeah, there's some girls
as much as girls try preach, yeah, we can do the same, I'm like, can you though? I feel like him even not texting you for a couple of hours, you're like, oh, what's he doing? Do you know what I mean? That's still you caring, you know?
Yeah.
Where guys, they can literally go all day without talking to you, and they can give you a little message at night, and then you get all excited. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I do think girls can't do that in that sense.
I think it's definitely harder for girls. Well, in that sense, if you if you know that generally girls have a different relationship to like sex and sexuality and stuff, is it surprising when I say, okay, girls who do OnlyFans and they're doing that explicit stuff, they do struggle in that side of their dating lives?
Yeah.
Is that surprising, or does that make sense?
It's not surprising, no.
Yeah.
Because I think for guys, in their eyes, they like to see a girl they're like, no one else has seen, like, in that sense. But then again, that would be the same for me. I wouldn't want my guy to be seen like that. So I don't know. Maybe I couldn't be with someone that does OnlyFans, but I definitely think like fair play for everyone that does it though, but yeah, I don't think I would.
So basically, so first, you wouldn't date a guy who's in the social like influencer space, and then you wouldn't date a guy who does OnlyFans. So if there was a male version of you, you would not date him.
I would.
Would you? You just said you wouldn't.
I just don't think I could. I don't know. I just feel like guys in that industry, they're very big headed, and they also think they're all the shit. I don't know.
Do you think girls aren't as well in that?
Yeah, but I feel like it suits them more. Just like, do you know what I mean? I think that it does.
So you think girls having really big egos is kind of it suits girls more, not guys more?
Yeah, when a guy gives me a attitude, I'm like, go argue with your mother, mate. Don't argue with me, mate.
Do you think if you're a guy who dated women, you'd be saying the same thing?
What do you mean? If you what?
So if you were, or rather, if you dated girls, do you date girls or no?
No, I mean, I've never tried. Maybe I should.
Maybe you should. Hey, listen, try it. See if you like it.
Yeah.
Do you think if you dated girls, you'd be saying that? You'd say the same, that people like them having a big ego suits them.
No, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No, you've got me there. I don't know.
No, maybe you say yes. Maybe you say yes.
I don't know until I'm in that situation, I guess. Yeah. So.
That's
I don't really know.
I've kind of grilled you. What's something you want to bring to the conversation today? What's something you want to ask?
I don't know. I'm trying to think now.
You've seen some of my content. Is there anything on there you're like, I like that, or I really disagree with that? He's great. Nah, he's shit. Let me tell him where to go.
So, do you agree that men and women can do this, like are allowed to do the same things? Like, for example, like, all this like, oh, women can do what men can do. Do you agree with that sort of?
What do you mean? Do I think they can? Do I think they should be able to? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be able to. Depending what it is, does the world see us differently for it? Yeah, there are some things the world sees us differently.
Yeah.
Do you have something in mind? Like an example?
Yeah, because like, let's say I'm just going to bring up Titanic ship, right? So obviously when that, if that's, yeah. So if that goes, that goes down like the Titanic.
Yeah.
Who goes in first?
There you go. Sorry, say again.
Who gets saved first?
Oh, I see. So if there was like a modern day Titanic.
Yeah.
It's a very good question. Are you asking what I think it is or what I think it should be?
What you think it should be, if it's all equal, like.
Okay, personally, and I think this is part of the way I've been raised, I would say women and children first. I would still apply that rule. But that means we're not equal.
Yeah.
Because there is no reason why women should be able to get priority over both the men.
Yeah.
If we're talking about an equal society.
Yeah.
So in the eyes of equality, nah, man, it should be just the youngest people. So if you've got a 40-year-old woman, but a 30-year-old guy, you just take the 30-year-old guy and she's got to stay.
Yeah, because like obviously, they say they'd save women because they're supposed to, have children and all of that. But it's like, how are they going to have children without the men though? Yeah,
that's very true. But I guess it's you can through one man and 10 women, you can have 10 kids or more in a generation. But if you have 10 guys and one woman, she can only bring one child to term at a time.
Is it China that's got more men than?
Yeah, because they had that one child policy and then everybody wanted boys. So now there's like, the ratio is like 1 woman to 2 men.
Really?
Yeah, which is actually, ironically, has given all the power to the women because there's so many guys pining after them. So it's like fair play. But
that is mad, isn't it?
Yeah. But so in that sense, that's actually screwed their kind of repopulating the next generation.
Yeah.
Because if you've got less women than men, then because they can, once a woman's pregnant, she can't bring more than one kid in that year, right? But a guy could technically have kids with an infinite number of women in the space of a year.
That is mad, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think about that though? What do you think if the Titanic went down? If we had a modern day Titanic?
Obviously the women, but then it's not really equal, is it? Like you said, like it's not. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they can all do. Not women and men are not always equal. I think there's. Go
on.
No, carry on.
Well, I was going to ask. So that's a scenario where it obviously benefits the women.
Yeah.
Is there an example you think benefits the men that you would agree with in the same way?
In that situation?
Well, just like, so it doesn't have to be like a life or death situation. It could be something like, men could do this, but not that women can't do it. But maybe it's not as favorable if they do.
Yeah, I mean, like, if anything went wrong, I don't know, with the sink or something, or anything like that, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd have to, like, call a man up to do that. Do you know what I mean? Or,
Yeah.
So I do think, I don't agree with, like, women sometimes saying, oh, like, for example, like what we were just saying about women sleeping with men and not having feelings. Like, I don't think women can sleep with men and not have any sort of feelings, where I think men can.
If you're loving this episode and these kinds of conversations, then I want to give you something. We recently launched the Kits Angels community. This is a sisterhood for women who are tired of what the dating scene has given them and are ready to take their love lives to the next level. It's a space for you as a woman to not be alone in your journey to love, where we learn, talk, and share our experiences as part of a strong sisterhood, with some leadership and guidance from yours truly, of course. Not to mention never before seen videos from me on how I've led dozens of women to meeting great men. And so as a thank you for watching this episode, I'm giving you a month's membership completely complimentary on me. Just click the Kits Angels link below, and when you join the group, message me the code phrase Angels Podcast and I will pay for your membership. Now back to the episode.
Do you think so you know the double standard of, if a girl has slept with 30 guys, she's seen a type of way, and then if a guy has slept with 30 girls, he's seen a type of way, not the same way. What do you think about that double standard?
I don't think that's really double standards. I think a woman should be a bit more closed off, personally.
Sure.
Just because men can have sex and, like I said, no, there's no emotions there. But also, when women have sex, I think that I read this thing, I forgot, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But like, when a man inserts it in her, it can stay, like the DNA can stay in you for whatever years it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
So like, you know, if you get pregnant in that short amount of time, you got all those little DNAs of like the guys that you slept with. I think that's just quite, you know, I don't know. I saw it somewhere and I forgot like the exact like explanation for it, but that just made me think, oh my God, like I never thought of it like that. And it's true. Like
the man enters you as a woman.
So you have that in your body, in your system, like for a long time.
You can, for sure. So how do you think, because obviously we live in sexually liberated times, how do you think our kind of casualness with sex has impacted maybe how we date, the kind of people that we're now around? Like, how do you think that's impacted for men and women?
I hate it when guys say, oh, I hate a girl that goes out all the time. Going back to that.
Of course you hate that.
No, but not that.
Because you go out all the time.
It's just more like, you know, they can still have fun and you should still be able to trust them. Do you know? And I feel like most of the time guys don't like that because they're scared that their women that are going to cheat on them, or their women are going to get the attention and end up cheating on them or something like that. I don't know what goes on in their heads. But at the end of the day, most of the time us girls go out to have fun with our girls. Most of the time we don't even want to talk to the men. Like, a man comes to our table, we don't want to talk to them. We're here to have fun in a group, as a group of girls. So
I get that. I'm not saying that's not true, but I think there's a reason that when girls want to go out, most girls don't go to like women's only clubs. They still go to like the men's
did I have
clubs.
a women's only club? I'm thinking about going there.
They started to. I mean, like, you know,
Really?
I guess it definitely makes sense. But
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Part of the reason guys don't like it, it's the same reason why girls don't like it when guys like girls' photos.
I don't really care about stuff like that. I can't
care
lie.
about that?
No.
Okay, so you won't have a problem with your man liking other girls'
No,
photos?
as long as you don't. I mean,
good.
going back to the baby dad, he used to like my friends' pictures, and some people have opinions about that as well.
Depends on the picture. If it's like her playing the cello, it's like, oh yeah, that's really cool. But if it's like her shaking her booty,
like none of my friends do that, so that's all right.
Yeah.
But you know, I have so many like naturally pretty girls that like my baby dad, he used to like all their pictures and comment on them, and I didn't really care. But some people would have an issue with that, and you know, I have partners that never like my pictures or even support anything I do. So I don't know where, like, I'd want to be with someone that is quite open about things like that, you know. I don't care about liking or commenting people's pictures. I don't care. And I hope they don't care either, kind of thing, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying, but
I think it's more because generally speaking, how men and women like attract the other sex is different.
Yeah.
So like men tend to pursue, which is why a lot of girls, if they do have an issue with it, they kind of see you liking that girl's photo is like an initiation for you to pursue her. And part of the reason why guys don't like girls going out is because men pursue, but women advertise.
Yeah.
So when you go out, you don't have to go up to guys to kind of quote unquote advertise that you're open to be approached. That doesn't necessarily that you are. But, and that's not saying that girls shouldn't go out. I don't have an issue with like my girlfriend going out or anything like that. But that's why I think a lot of guys have an issue with it.
Yeah.
To be fair, if you're like, hey babe, I'm going to a girls only club, he'd be like, babe, go have fun. Do your thing. He'd probably be really happy about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I get that. What do you think about boys and girls being friends?
I think they can be friends, but I think certain conditions have to be met for them to be friends.
Like what?
He can't find her attractive. I say certain conditions. I think that's like the one condition.
Really? That's the only thing?
Yeah, because I don't think guys can be friends with girls that they find attractive. Not saying that she's not attractive.
Yeah, I know, I get
a
you.
girl that they find attractive. Because if he finds because if we know that guys can have sex with girls that just in a physical sense. I mean, some guys have sex with girls they're not even attracted to. Do you know what I mean?
They do.
Do you know what I mean? So like if a guy does find her attractive, we know for sure he would be physical with her. And then if he's friends with her, that means he really likes who she is. So it's only natural that he's kind of gonna want more.
Yeah.
Whereas, and you tell me, if she finds him physically attractive, I think it's easier for her to keep it in the friendship space in her head than it is for guys.
So what you mean if the girl wait, what? So
if he doesn't find her attractive, but even if she finds him attractive,
yeah,
I think it's easier for her to be like, okay, cool, like
we can still be friends.
We can just be friends, because I think girls are used to friend zoning guys. Even if they find them attractive, do you know what I mean? Whereas guys, if he finds her, if he's physically drawn to her, then a lot of the time that means that he's open to having sex with her. And I think if it's a genuine friendship, that means neither of you would have sex with each other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that.
What do you think?
I mean, I've got a few guy mates and some of them I've been friends with for like 10 plus years.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you know, when you're younger, they do try it with you, don't you? But
so you have guy mates that you friend zoned?
Yeah. I mean, I've been friends with a few and some of them have tried it with me in the past before I was in a relationship and stuff like that. But I do think I'd like to hope they wouldn't ever try it, but...
They were the first to subscribe to that OnlyFans link when it came out. They're like, oh my gosh, I can get it, yay! And they're like, damn.
No, I don't think they would, but obviously I'd like to think not anyway, but they are still good friends. Like, I'm still really good friends with them.
Is that not... Because I think like you're quite mature, you know, you're quite intelligent. We can tell you're an intelligent woman. I think you know that they would if the opportunity came.
I think they might, but I would like to think they won't because that would just fuck up our friendships. I don't want to say too much because just in case they listen and they don't want to be like, because I don't have that many guy mates. Like I said, I'm really reserved and like when it comes to guys and stuff like that. So, no, I'd like to think they wouldn't, but maybe if I did try and, you know, said a few things, maybe could, but at the same time, I'm not attracted to them like that, so we're good.
Does that not, I have two questions. One, how, is that not, weird isn't the right word. Isn't it semi-uncomfortable to spend time with a guy that you only see as a friend, but you know he wants you? Isn't that a kind of like, because you always have to be on guard if he goes, oh, you look gorgeous today. And you're like, okay, that's okay.
I know what you mean.
And then he's like, and then he's like, oh, like, you look great in that dress. You're like, that's a potential red flag. Hey, just so you know, we're friends.
No, but you know what? I think I've trained my mind not to think of it like that because, like, you know, sometimes they are really good friends and you don't want to cut that friendship over something they said or something that you're overthinking in your head. And whether it's true or not, I'd rather just not have that in my head, if that makes sense.
Blissfully ignorant.
Yeah, I'd just rather ignore it. Like, at the end of the day, like, you know, I'm not an ugly girl, so they're going to find me attractive. But at the same time, I'd like to think like they wouldn't.
So it's
Leave
not
me in peace.
so it's not uncomfortable for you to spend time with a guy who
No, it
wants
doesn't make
you.
me uncomfortable. Like I said, some of them I've been friends with for 10 plus years. That's longer than most of
Still
my...
trying.
No, but like, yeah, hang in there because it's still not happening. So,
Damn.
but it's just one of them that it's like, you can't always think of it like that, unfortunately.
Does that
like,
not
It does.
this is a difficult question. Does that not make you respect them less if you know they took an interest in you and you kind of put it in the friend zone and they kind of still stuck around in hope of something more? Does that not make you
Yeah, but I was
respect
like
them
15
less?
when that happened. Do you know what I mean?
But the fact that they're still here, maybe it doesn't, but like, does that not make you respect them less?
But it's not that like they're trying it with me now, if that
Yeah,
makes
but you
sense.
know, but the reason they're not trying it is because you set the boundary very clear.
Yeah.
It's not because they wouldn't. if
It
the
did make me
opportunity
feel
came.
uncomfortable at one point, but when that happened, I kind of cut them off in a way. Like,
Okay.
you know, and then like when we did talk about it, I'd be like, you know, you stepped that boundary. And then we'd like, for example, there's this one person then like I fell out with him when I was just before I got with my ex.
Yeah.
And we fell out for like 2 years, and then he obviously saw me with my son, and then yeah, we literally started speaking again. And he was like, "I'm really sorry for doing like trying it with you like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I hope we can still be friends." And I was like, "Yeah, look, like, we should meet up and like talk about it and just, you know." And then like when we did, we were so fine. Like he was still like my boy best mate, and we just had the gig, like, you know, we were laughing about it. It was what it is, and it was like years beforehand. So for me, that made me feel more comfortable. And since then, he's never tried it with me, so that was nice.
Why do you think things changed on his end?
But it's because I made it clear that like if you do that again, that's it. I'm not gonna be your friends anymore.
No, as in like, because you know how you said you kind of had a hiatus for a couple of years. Why do you think he came back?
I think he saw me with my child, that he thought, oh, like, I'm missing out a good part of our life. And like, I don't really know why, but we just, I guess
true.
like, you know, we had a good friendship. So we wanted to have that back in a way. And I missed him as well in that sense, you know, like I used to always go to him, like, you know, when you moan about your partner, you obviously want to like talk to your girl best mates, but they have such big opinions that you're like, you know what, fuck off. I'm gonna go talk like with guys. I feel like this is why I like having a mixture of like girls and boys, because
Yes.
girls take on your own emotions, where guys, they'll be there for you but they won't take on your emotions, you know. It's
Right.
weird. Like when I've noticed every time I talk to the boys, they give me good advice, and whether I listen to it or not, they don't take it on. Where with the girls, if they give you good advice, and if you don't listen to what they said, there's such a big like thing about it, you know. And
What
then,
if you don't do what they say?
yeah, and then they
Ah.
take on that emotions, and then they're like, oh, like we just don't want you to get treated like rah rah, you know, like it just
Okay.
becomes such a big thing. So like nowadays I don't really speak to my girl mates about stuff. I speak to
Okay.
mostly my guy mates, and like they'll give me advice. But like I said, if I listen to it, I listen to it. If not, then they kind of like crack on with their normal day.
Yeah,
do you know?
yeah, of course. Has there ever been a time where they gave you advice for like a guy that surprised you? You're like, oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, there's this one. I actually became friends with him because he tried it with me once. I know
Seeing a
it sounds
running
pretty
theme,
bad,
Dinusha.
but he
Seeing a running
is
theme.
so lovely as well. And I've been friends with him for like a year as well. And he is someone that people would look at, oh my God, he's so fit. Like, and all my friends think he's fit. But he has never tried it with me. He's very like respectful towards like, you know, having a partner and stuff like that. Like I remember he tried it with me, and I was like, oh yeah, my partner's right behind you. And he just like was so shocked, and he was like, oh, I'm really sorry, mate. I would never, like, look, I'll unfollow her right now, and blah, blah, blah. And it was just like a really big thing.
Yes.
And then we saw each other and months later, and he was like, oh, I'm really sorry about that. He was like, I didn't want it to go down like that. And I was like, okay, honestly, me and him were laughing about it after. It doesn't matter. Like, we're cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and him have become friends through that stuff, that like now he gives me good advice. That if I'm like upset about something, he'll give me advice on that specific subject.
Nice.
And it wouldn't go anywhere else. He wouldn't be cheeky about it. He wouldn't be like, you know, trying it with me or anything. He's just kind of like, you know, just gives me the advice, and that's that.
Yeah, yeah. So what piece of advice has maybe he given you that made you surprised when it came to guys? Like a relationship?
Well, we had this debate actually like last week or the week before.
Yeah.
And it was him saying how a man should work for his woman, if that makes sense. So he should provide the money, like, and the woman does just stay at home and does all the stuff. And I was just like, no, we're not in the 60s. We're not doing that. I was like, women should do the same. I think they both should work, and maybe the man should be on a little bit more, but it doesn't really matter about who's earning more or less. It should be equal. And anyway, it was just like a back and forward for like hours, and then he basically turned around and said, I agree to disagree. And I was like, okay, we'll just leave us there.
Do what works for you. Do what works for you. Some people.
What do you think about that stuff? Do you think a woman should? Do you think they should both work? Do you think? I don't know.
Well, I think if anyone wants to work, they should.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think the woman should have to stay at home, and I don't think if the guy should have to work if he doesn't want to. What I think works best.
That's one.
I think what works best is the guy does have a mission, so he does work, he does do that, and if he can be providing the frame for the relationship, that doesn't necessarily mean he pays for everything, but maybe he shoulders the majority of the financial load of the relationship. And the reason I say I think that works best is because I think it's really difficult for women to give the level of respect to a man the relationship needs if she feels she's doing more of that.
Yeah.
I think it's like, it sounds really harsh, but the truth is I don't think many women would respect a stay-at-home dad, is the truth, as their partner. I don't think they would.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And this is the whole thing where it's like, we live in a day and age of equality, but this is one of those things when it comes to relationships, a lot of the time between men and women, they're actually not equal.
Because I work a lot, so I get that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, would you choose a guy who you know like lives at home and works part-time?
No.
But then at the same time,
not.
Right? But then at the same time, you literally just said, no, I think they should both work. I mean, you're still both working.
They should definitely both work, but maybe the man should work a little bit more, maybe.
I have a question, because women are actually out earning men now. Like,
that's because we do OnlyFans.
Partly, yeah. There's a lot of desperate guys and a lot of girls willing to kind of sell their bodies for it. So that's true. So, but yeah, women out earn their single male counterparts under the age of 30 now. So if we know that, if we're saying for the average woman that she would want a guy who is at least her level or above in that sense, but at the same time, the tables are kind of shifting in terms of who has the financial capability from men to women. Do you think women will start to accept a more 50-50 relationship? Or do you think that they will only ever just try and go for like the top guy, and which essentially means more women would end up being single because there's just less of those guys to go around?
Yeah, this is the problem I think there is that women do expect men to do all the working, and like I think they expect someone to always be providing for them.
Yeah.
I personally don't see it like that. Like I said, I think both of them should work, and I think if one of you goes broke, you should be there for each other, because that's what relationships are there for.
You're a team.
But again, if you're like, you know, I don't know, like you're actually not doing anything about getting yourself out of that stage, then I can see why women or men do leave, because they're like, I don't want to be with someone that doesn't even try get themselves a job or get themselves out there to provide, you know?
Yeah.
So I get that, but I do think people always go up and down when it comes to money, especially like nowadays.
Yeah,
so
100%.
I think, no, women shouldn't expect, like, you know, when you first go on a date, why is it a thing that men should pay for it? I think it should be 50-50. You don't know each other. What do you owe each other, you know?
I
should
agree.
be 50-50. I can understand after a few times you've been on a date, you'd want him to pay it that one time. They'll be like, oh, that's nice. But for me personally, I'll be like, oh, I'll pay next time, you know, or I'll pay for the drinks or really something like that. Instead of being like, no, you have to pay every time until we get together and then we can start going 50-50. Like, no, what is that about? You don't even know each other.
Yeah. You
should be more comfortable to say you pay for it if you're in a relationship more than like someone you don't know. But do you know what I mean? Like,
That's interesting. No, I get that, because the irony is, this probably happens more where people are in a relationship, then a woman starts to contribute more. Yeah. Generally, I think that it works in everyone's interest, the guy and the girl's interest, if for the first date, if he does pay, but she shouldn't expect it. And so
No.
if he does, she should be grateful
So have you paid on a first date?
every time.
Really?
Yeah, I've never.
But do they offer?
Some do, some don't, and the
See,
ones
that
that
would-
don't,
if they
I don't
didn't-
take them out on the second date.
You don't?
No, if she doesn't offer, then
Yeah,
no.
because I think that's a piss take, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's like
what?
you just said, I don't owe you anything.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you ever paid for a first date?
I'll fucking always pay, mate.
Not pay for him though. Do you pay for him?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. Not my ex.
Where
just
those
gone.
girls? Listen.
Not my baby
wherever
dad.
those
but
girls are, where they're paying for the first date.
I know, it's really sad.
Just send them my way. I'll send them to my boys. They'll be like, listen, fellas, these girls will pay for the meal, my friend.
Oh God, no, I am, and like my friends have made fun of it in the past, and I'm like, thanks.
Is it? Would you allow a guy to pay for you on the first date?
Like I said, I've never really dated, so I wouldn't really know. But
Okay.
I think if we went out for food, I'd expect 50-50, not like.
You would expect that, but if he was like, hey, no, I invited you out, I would like to,
I
make
was
this a
like,
treat for
honey,
us.
I can pay for my own stuff, thank you.
So you wouldn't let him pay for you?
I wouldn't want to, just because, especially if I'm feeling like, oh, I don't think I'll see you again. I don't want to feel like I've used him. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, we need more women like you, man. Come on.
But if I felt something and he says it a few times, then I'll be like, okay, like, I mean, you've offered quite a few times, so
Yeah,
I
if he
would just let him.
insists.
Otherwise it kind of comes across like, oh, like a bit rude, or like, I don't know,
Yeah.
because you don't know, some guys can see it like, oh, I don't want that, I don't know, some guys actually like providing for the woman and actually paying for the women, so
Yeah.
like, you don't know, so it depends what vibe I got, I guess. But
Yeah.
I personally think first dates should always be 50-50.
I respect that. I can't be honest. I have to be honest. I would respect that. I think if I let a girl pay for her share of the date, it would be because she insisted. And the reason I would let that if she insisted is because she may feel uncomfortable with me paying for her, because she may feel like she then owes me something. And I don't want her to be uncomfortable in
Yeah.
that sense. So I'll always... that's just my approach. I'd always be like, oh no, I'll cover this and stuff. And if she's like, it's like a little game. She's like, no, let me
Yeah.
get this. I'm like, no, it's fine. But then she's like, no, like I really would like to kind of cover for myself.
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, all right,
Okay, yeah.
fair enough. Like I
Yeah.
have no issue with it. Because in order for a guy to provide, she has to be willing to receive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And if she's not willing to receive, even if you pay for it, if she's not willing to receive, if she's doing it kind of uncomfortably so,
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily good, even though you're
No.
trying to be chivalrous.
Yeah, because I know a few girls that I've spoken to in the past, and they're like, yeah, well, us women have to get dresses. We have to get expensive makeup. And I'm like, you wear that anyway.
Exactly.
And the
You're not doing
dressing,
it for him.
put something that you've already got. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to go out of your way to fucking make yourself look good, I guess. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
If he's asked you
That's
on a
your
date,
own
he already
choice.
yeah, it's true. If he's asked you on a date, he already thinks you look good.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't need to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's one thing that I've got told, and they're like, okay, well, that's your own choice to look good. I get that. But at the same time, I don't think that's a guy's problem to fucking pay for the first date. Do you know what I mean?
agree. No, I agree with you. What's one thing you think women get wrong about men?
Like I said, that guy that I was just saying, he came across really arrogant and very like confident, and like he tried it with me and he did not like it. So I saw a version of him that thought, fuck boy. Straight away, I thought, fuck boy.
Yep.
Because he looks good. He knows he looks good. He's a model. Do you know what I mean? He knows it all. But I just thought, oh, fuck boy. Like he's just, that. But as soon as he got back with his girlfriend, I saw a complete different side to him, and I was like, oh my God, this guy's loyal. He's really nice. Like he's very respectful. Like he's, even me being friends with him, he has never tried it with me since that time. So I think don't judge his book by its cover, basically, like, because you can look at someone and think, oh, like they're 100% gorgeous. So they're definitely going to hurt you. Like, especially when it comes to guys. Where with women, I think, do you know what? I think men also think that with women, when you see a beautiful woman, you're like, oh, she could be trouble. Do you know what I mean?
I think her energy, kind of how you said about he came across very confident, very out there and stuff. I think their energy does
make you feel like he is this person.
Yeah, I think the energy plays a part as to whether we would say a man or woman comes across in this way.
Yeah.
But I do get like, you're like, from looks wise.
Yeah,
Like, if
yeah.
he's very aesthetically pleasing, you're
Yeah,
like,
he
he probably gets
is.
a lot of girls. He's probably, you
Yeah.
know, a bit of a fuckboy. I get that. I'm trying to think. Do guys think that?
I feel like you guys do. I think you think that if, like, let's say if a girl's got her boobs done and her face is all like aesthetic, you know, got like lips done and all that, I think people think she's a one night stand. That's what I feel like you guys look at them and think.
Yeah.
Do you not agree? Because it's actually really hard to find a guy that is actually with a girl that's got all of that stuff done.
For a serious,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And I don't think if it's weird because it's like there's different kinds of beauty and there's different kinds. There's like, because there's like beautiful, then there's hot. There's like really pretty, and then there's like, you know, really, really sexy. But I guess sexy is kind of more the energy, because you can have someone who has really great sex appeal. She's not like the typical beauty standard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there is a type of an aesthetic look where guys can be like, yeah, she's really hot, but maybe he wouldn't choose long term because, rightfully or wrongfully so, guys just prefer a more natural beauty look.
No, they do.
They just do.
I know.
Like,
they do.
you know what I mean? And that's not.
Yeah, I've noticed that. That's what I mean. When girls get stuff done.
So why do they get that done if they know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've never done it, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I don't know. like someone said to me, like, oh, do you, she said to me, she was like, oh, I'm looking to get someone to get their lips done. And I was like, well, don't look at me, honey, you're lying, getting that done. And she was just like, oh no, you don't need it. But yeah, like you would be a really good model. I'm like, yeah, not that for that sort of stuff. Like I'm such a big, not a hater, because I think, you know, if you want to do it, you're going to do it anyway. You know, like you can't stop people. But I think you should embrace the beauty that your parents have given you
100%.
and like just age gracefully. Do you know what I mean? And then like just.
But I think the reason I think a big reason why they get it though is because there's a level of attention that comes with looking that way.
Yeah, but like you just said.
It's not the right kind of attention, but it's attention.
But then I guess some girls don't care about that. They'd rather get the attention than not get the attention at all, you know?
They'd rather get the wrong attention than no attention.
Yeah, because then at least they feel
validated.
Yeah. Which is
true.
so true.
Have you ever gone somewhere? Have you ever done anything because you're going to get attention for it?
From guys?
Yeah.
No.
Never?
No. I told you, like, you should see me on a night out. I'm actually really bad.
Why? What are you
My
like?
friends are always, oh, you always have to do this. And I'm like, what? And they're like, you always have to just cut them off. And I'm like, I just don't want to give that sort of entertainment. Like, it's weird because I've been out with so many of my friends that are like, oh, you was going to get us free drinks. I'm like, have you not heard the news? People are getting spiked out here. Do you know what I mean? But personally, I'd rather be safe and get my own drink than like, do you know what I mean? You just never know.
So interesting. So you said like your girls were like, he's going to get us free drinks. They're not out there looking for men.
No, I know.
That getting the attention from men, there's benefit to that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there are people out
That's
there.
why they don't go to women's only clubs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get that. But for me personally, yeah, I just don't think it's a thing.
Listen, I think that everyone should have the agency to do what they want, but understand what comes with that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like if you're going to go out and you're going to look for attention and stuff like that, that's cool. But like if you know you're inviting the wrong kind of attention, then you can't be surprised if you're getting the wrong results that you actually want. Do you know what I mean? Because there are some things that are, when I say a slow burn, it's like, I think our generation has lost the art of delayed gratification. We want everything now. Do you know what I mean? I'm
really like an old person inside because I'm like, I want that sort of love. I want that sort of love. And it's just, yeah. We'll find it one day.
Who does influencer and does OnlyFans. What's something you want to ask? One thing you want to bring to conversation?
Not much really, I think.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
You wanted to chat about the accident that happened to you.
Oh yeah. So
what happened?
Obviously this is more like to do with underage drinking, bullying and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was 15 years old, I had an accident where I basically went to a party, got absolutely smashed, first time drinking. long story short, I basically got kicked out the house because I was throwing up, and basically ended up at the station to meet one of my best friends at the time. And one of the boys there that was actually a guy that was bullying me at the time actually said, oh, like, because I took my heels off, because, you know, when you're drunk, like some girls just take their heels off and you're just like walking around barefoot. He turned around to me and he was like, oh, like, why are you taking your shoes off? We're not in your country. And I was just like, wow, like racist. Okay.
Cool. Nice.
But I grew up in an area that is full of like white people mostly. Okay. And at the time I was probably one of the few like darker skin sort of people out there. So I think I just felt really like targeted in a way at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't see it until I got older, to be fair, that I felt that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I basically like went off on my own, and I was just looking at the station times, and like I was walking on the side of the track and my heels fell on it. So I just like looked around quickly and I went to get it. And when I went to get it, like the train was only like a couple of minutes away. So the guy that actually bullied me was like, you need to get back up. Like the train is literally a couple of minutes away. What the fuck are you doing? And I was like, why do you care anyway? You're the one who've like just told me like to put my shoes back on. I'm doing it right now. Anyway, then obviously my heels still weren't on my my feet. So I went to step back up to get back up. And I stepped on the wrong rail, and yeah, I started like shaking and got electrocuted for 5 minutes. And there was
you
like,
were electrocuted for 5 minutes.
Normally people die after like 30 seconds to a minute. Yeah, and like I think the voltage, I'm pretty sure it's like either 1,500 or like 500. I don't know, one of them. And yeah, obviously the current's going through my whole body. Yeah, and my arm was stuck to it, and my back was kind of stuck to it. Not that I remember that side, I just remember shaking.
What did it feel like?
I don't know, you just kind of like, you know, like you just...
Did it feel like something was just coursing through your body?
So much, yeah. And then there was like sparks coming out of different sides of my body.
Should have woke up with superpowers after that.
Literally, I felt like one. No, I didn't. I was very weak when I woke up. I lost so much weight.
So what happened? Did the train not come?
So yeah, the train obviously was coming. I don't remember this side of it because I don't talk to anyone that like was there on that night. So I don't really know the exact story, but I'm pretty sure he went at the end of the track to get the train to stop because it was like, you know, and they called the emergency line at the end of the thing as well, because you know they have like a help button thing. And then that's how they stopped it. And then I woke up I think maybe half an hour later when the ambulance and police came and stuff, and all I saw is like lights and someone telling me to stay down there. And then I looked around and my phone was pinging. I'm guessing people were just messaging me constantly. And I went to grab it and I couldn't move my arm, and obviously because my arm has been just burnt, my nerves obviously got burnt as well. So like my fingers did not move. Like now I can move it, but like there's still certain things I can't fully do like how I used to be able to.
And this was like almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, so definitely got a lot better. Like I never thought I'd be able to do anything, to be honest. So yeah, I got electrocuted on the train tracks, and I went to hospital for 2.5 weeks, and then they done loads, like I think I probably had about 7 or 8 surgeries, skin graft and all that.
Wow.
So
what did you learn about yourself from that experience?
So from that, I just realised I am really strong, obviously. Like someone wanted me to survive that.
So I was looking out for you.
Yeah, literally. And then, I'm just trying to like, obviously spread awareness about that stuff, because I do feel like, especially like school kids, they do still get on the tracks, like believe it or not. Like, you know, I'm sure like you being a boy as well, at a young age, you think, oh, like, I'm just being a boy, like playing around with a ball or something, I don't know, and then you go get it and you think that could be the end of my life, you know, so and people do that. So I just kind of want to share my story and kind of help other kids and people out there that hopefully, because I grew up in Italy, right, and I didn't know anything about like the rail being like, you know, electric, I don't know what you call it,
electrically live,
that's it say. And so I always grew up in Italy where it is on the line at the top.
Oh, of course.
So I never knew that, and like you know, I've had a few videos go out there that have gone viral.
Yeah.
And people in the comments have pissed me off. I've tried to ignore it, but I always reply back like, I'm like, no, you did not, Karen. But I'm just like, yeah, I just need to explain to myself. They're like, oh, well, how wouldn't you have known? I'm like, I literally just said I was 15 years old. I grew up in a different country.
Yeah.
Like, I'm only trying to do goods. Like, stop being such online, like literally. And then she'll still be like, yeah, but that was still silly of you, wasn't it? And I'm like,
that's mad.
But yeah, so that's like, I don't think many people, like especially kids, I don't think you really get taught that in school.
No, like I think, and what kind of when you say the train track, what kind of track was it? Was it like one that was exposed in like a country?
Not like underground tracks, just like a normal train
just a
track.
normal train track.
Yeah,
because like people cross it all the time. And
yeah,
you wouldn't think
but it's only live if it's only a couple of stops away, if that makes sense. So if it's a couple of stops away, the electric comes through like a lot.
Comes through.
Yeah,
right.
but if it's like, let's say it was in London and you're like, I don't know, 40 minutes away, then it wouldn't matter.
You're fine.
But I wouldn't test it out though.
Yeah, because you're absolutely right. Because I'll be honest, when I was out and about when I was younger with me and a few of my guy friends and stuff like that.
You don't know.
You just crossed the tracks to
you did.
You wouldn't even think about it.
No, yeah, exactly.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
wow, that's intense. Well, we're glad you're here with us today.
I know, literally.
Amen to that. One last thing I want to ask you, because you have a daughter.
Yeah.
How old is she?
She's 4.
What would you tell your daughter about men today when she becomes 18?
I think I'd be going on a stalking rate with my friends with our fucking wigs and sunglasses and our wrinkly faces. No, oh God, I don't even want to think about that. She's only 4.
I know. But the day's going to come at some point.
I just think, hopefully she meets someone good. Like,
well, what would you tell her? Like, what words of wisdom would you tell her?
I'd be like, just don't do what mummy did. I'm joking. I don't know. Do you know what? I don't have a bad taste in men, but because obviously, like, I've settled down and I had a good guy. And the one before that, he put me through some shit, but we were so young. I forgive him for that as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think definitely don't allow someone to, like, let's say, like, if they cheat on you, don't take them back. Personally, I think there's so many guys out there that won't do that, and whether they were young or not, don't deal with that. But at the same time, I do believe that people can change. So it really does depend on the person and how they are as people. But I think just go with your heart. I always say that, go with your heart, but I don't know.
If he's really attractive and overconfident, he's probably a fuckboy, so stay away from him.
Yeah, basically, but I don't know, because like they can fall in love quite young. You don't know that. Like, most people, especially nowadays, teenagers, they fall in love so young, and I'm like, go play with some crayons. Like, stop growing up. Literally. 100%. Like, you see 16-year-olds dancing. I'm there like a dickhead dancing when I was back then. Like, what are these movements? I can't even do that movement now, let alone when I was 6. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I do think kids are growing up so quickly, and it's actually really, really sad.
Because the internet, they're just
But yeah,
to
this
it.
is the one thing that me and their dad don't do, is they don't know how to use a tablet yet.
Great.
And they're like 6 and 4. Like, most of his like school friends, they all know how to use all of that stuff, and like the parents put it on the group chat. I'm like, they know how to use a tablet. I'm like, that is mad. I mean, I never grew up with that sort of stuff. I mean, I knew how to use my Nintendo, but I didn't get a Nintendo until I was like 11. Do you know what I mean? So
100%.
yeah, and I had a little Nokia phone when I was like 12 or 13. So like, I don't really want them to use a tablet until they're at least in secondary school.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And even a phone, I think I'd give them like a crap phone. I wouldn't get them an iPhone.
Give them an old Motorola.
But the thing is, it's hard because like you kind of want them to fit in, and you don't want kids to pick on them and like, you don't have an iPhone because your mum won't let you or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't want them to feel like that, but hopefully they're sensible and think, like my mum's
yeah, but also
this.
my child's going to have better mental health, so I would rather that than them having an iPhone.
I personally, because even my daughter, sometimes she'll be like playing with the remote and she's just changing channels, and I'm like, okay, just watch one thing.
Why is she
and then
swiping?
I'll take it off her, and she just starts having the biggest meltdown, and I'm like, nah, that's it, I'm turning it off. And she doesn't have TV for the rest of the day, and I don't care how much she cries. I don't let her watch it, because I'm just like, no, like, you can't give me attitude just because I told you not to do something,
100%. And what about your son? What would you tell him? what words of wisdom about women would you give him?
I mean, if he done something to a girl, I'd be like,
No, not
I'm
if
telling
he
you.
done something.
I'm joking.
Not if he done something, but like if he's, what should he look for? Like what piece of wisdom would you be like, this is a good woman, or this is how to attract a good woman?
I'll just be like, if she's crazy, stay away. Like, because she's obviously been hurt somewhere in her little childhood.
She's not over it.
Or from a boy or whatever.
Some healing needs
But
to
if
be done.
she's a good person, then like just try your best to be a good guy as well.
Or if she does OnlyFans.
It just depends what sort of OnlyFans personally. I don't think that's a big issue. Why would you not be with a girl like that does bikini or lingerie stuff then? This is off the subject, isn't it?
No.
We're talking about my son, then we're going back to that.
My son to OnlyFans.
Yeah. If
what,
she told you what I've just told you.
If she had OnlyFans.
Yeah. If she tells you the behind the scene of like what I've just told you, would you be okay with it?
I'll be honest, probably not.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? What's the reason?
Because
You don't want the men to see her in a sexual way.
well, guys are always like, if you're with a girl who's gorgeous, guys are going to approach them regardless, right? So it's not about that, but it's more that whether we like it or not, there is an association with OnlyFans
That is to do with that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that, there's a perceived reputation of that.
Yeah, which
And personally, I wouldn't want that reputation
to be on
to be
you.
part of my relationship.
No,
because
yeah.
the person you choose, they represent you.
Yeah. No, I get you. But, like, let's say she's still an influencer. Let's say your girlfriend's an influencer.
Yeah.
And all her pictures are bikini and lingerie anyway. Does that matter? Let's say normal bikini pictures then.
I don't know. I wouldn't have an issue with that.
But
If she was an
that's
influencer.
literally the same stuff that is on my OnlyFans.
Yeah, but it's like saying...
And she's just making money from it. So isn't that actually better?
Yeah, but it's more about people thinking that she does.
Yeah, that's what it is. What people think.
She is selling sexuality with that. Because if that's all she's doing, then I think, if I'm being honest, I don't think it may not be a write-off, but it would definitely be a point of contention that I would have to think about.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest.
And I guess it depends how much money she was making as well.
I don't think if you're just selling bikini stuff, I don't think the money is worth the association that comes with OnlyFans.
No, I get that. No, I do get that because
so I'd just even be like, for yourself as a woman in the world, like if you're gonna go employed and do, because like my girlfriend's an actress and a model as well, so it's like if you're gonna go and like do model shoots, or if you're employed for a job and they check your social media, which a lot of employers do, and they see that OnlyFans link, that can already go against you regardless of what you're even showing.
No, that's so true. Do
you see what I'm saying?
No, you are right in that sense. I think I'm gonna download Discord.
Yes, we got there, guys. We got there.
I get you. No,
it's just not smart for her.
No, I get what you're saying.
That's
I do
what I'm
100% agree with what you're saying, because that was one of my main issues that I had. That I was like, I don't want people to think that of me, like I said to you earlier. But I just never thought of the other apps. But
there's so many ways to pay. But the thing is, though, but you like we established, you kind of knew what you were doing with the OnlyFans stuff. That gets people
to begin with, yes, because my following was still growing anyway, so it was just kind of like, let's just see how it goes. Then I started making money. I was like, sweet. And then but now that I have what I have, I wouldn't mind changing platform, I guess. But I think it's more like, if a guy sees Discord, they're gonna be like, boring. They're not gonna even look at it, are they? Let's be honest. And that's
because they're buying to see the goods.
Yeah, that's
Dinusha, that's why they're buying.
No, that's what I'm saying. So I think it's more like, for me, I saw it as like an opportunity to, like, they're gonna get nosy and think, she's definitely doing that sort of stuff, and that's gonna make him subscribe to me. Do you know what I mean?
No, you are right, and that's a fair business model. But your turnaround of subscribers to your OnlyFans must be constant, because there'll be guys who will subscribe, then they realize, I'm not going to see the goods that I thought.
But you say
then
that,
they unsubscribe.
There's people out there still, like from when I first started to now, they're still like try and message me like, do you ever reply? I'm like, no, because I'm not here for business. I'm here just to scam you.
Dead. Well, at least she's honest. You heard it here first.
I don't care.
At least she's honest.
That's why I'm so open about it, because like when people, because I've had another podcast before where the guy was like, so we saw that you do OnlyFans. What's that about then? Like, what do you do? And I was just like, completely forgot. So I thought you might have done the stalking and saw it as well. I don't know.
Would you would you still consider a guy seriously if he was a subscriber of your OnlyFans?
Oh God, no, I'd be like, you're a perv before you was even fucking interested in me. What the fuck?
That's what you're saying about your customers, you know? That's what she's saying about her customers.
Oh, I don't care. I'm sorry. I had someone that bullied me that subscribed. How about that one? For 5 years, I was like, you made me fucking feel shit, and now you're on my fucking page.
You had a glow up. They're like,
I know. It kind of made me feel better. I sent it to everyone. I sent it to all my group chats.
So success is the best revenge.
It got back to it, and I thought it was fucking jokes.
So you would not date a guy who subscribed to your OnlyFans?
Oh, that's kind of weird. Come on.
Why is it weird?
Because I'm like, you literally was. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Be honest. No, I think I know why, but I want to let you say it.
I don't know. I just feel like they already saw me as that person that I think, would they not be just looking for that? I don't know.
So you think that they would only be looking for something casual?
Yeah.
Because of the avenue?
Yeah.
What if they were like, no, like, I want to take you seriously because I think you're great and I subscribe to your OnlyFans because I think you're gorgeous?
I'd find that a bit... Actually, no, I think later on in life, I'd be like, do you remember when you subscribed to me? But I don't really know. I don't know. I
don't think you would respect him, I'll be honest. I don't think you'd respect him.
Yeah, because I think you'd be like, did you do that to, how many other people did you do that to? You know?
That he did that to you? Oh, that he
subscribed to?
No, but let's say you're the only one.
Oh, still I don't know.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that the guy who would fall for the scam, you'd be like, I can't respect you enough to be my partner because the kind of guy I would choose would not fall for that. Would not subscribe. You'd be like, the kind of guy, I mean, would you date a guy, let's say he's not subscribed to yours, but he subscribed to girls' OnlyFans?
Yeah. I mean, if he told me down the line that he done that, I'd be like, oh, you perv, you weirdo, whatever. But...
I just find it interesting how you're like, the guys that you're kind of attracting, making money off, you think they're weird and perv. You are facilitating that perversion.
No, do you know what it is? I don't know. When I was younger, right, you know when you get people in vans just like beeping, right? They used to scare the shit out of me, right?
Oh, okay. Like
and I used to always end up arguing with them, right? No, it's really bad. But I was like 15-year-old me arguing with fucking old men. Do you know what I mean? I'm literally 12. Like, I would shout at them and they'd still be like, oh,
I'm 5.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? No, but like, and that used to ag me so much. I'm like, oh, I'd love to just like be able to mug them off back. And I think that the idea came with it.
At least you're admitting that you're mugging off every guy on OnlyFans.
Yeah, I don't care. If you're subscribing, you're an idiot. Sorry. I don't.
You heard it here first.
I don't really care. I'm not here to like, yeah.
No, 100%. Not here to make friends, here to make money.
Yeah, literally.
That's what it's about. Dinusha, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your energy with us today. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
If people want to find you, where can they find you?
OnlyFans. I'm joking.
Duh.
I'm joking. Duh. No. Follow my Instagram, Dinusha XO.
And there you can find her OnlyFans and help her support her 2 children.
No, that's not how. But yeah.
No, I'm playing. But thank you for coming on. We appreciate
you. Thank
you. Guys, go show Dinusha some love. Give her a follow. Give her a like. If you see that OnlyFans link and you're wondering what's on there, now you know there's nothing on there to be seen.
Oh,
right?
that's not promoting well, is it?
You're not getting the goods. You're not getting the goods. But no, we appreciate you for coming on, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.